Only a couple of weeks ago, American intervention in Iran would have been unthinkable. Trump campaigned last year promising to be a peacemaker and end the so-called forever wars, and it looked like US-Iran talks on a new nuclear deal were making good progress. However, over the past couple of days, as the war between Israel and Iran has escalated, America has inched closer to direct intervention, with American military assets moving to the Middle East and Trump signalling in recent comments that he's done negotiating. So, in this video, we're going to have a look at why Trump is apparently considering American intervention, and whether it's actually a good idea. We're getting ever closer to 1 million subscribers, and 68% of you haven't even subscribed yet. So lend us a hand and subscribe today. So let's get straight into it. If Trump intervenes in Iran, what would his objectives be? Well, as we see it, there would be 3 overlapping objectives. The first would be to destroy Iran's nuclear facilities, especially at the underground facilities at Natanz and Fordo. The Fordo facility, which is mainly used for enriching uranium, is literally buried under a mountain, and the Natanz facility is protected by dozens of meters of reinforced concrete. The expert consensus has long been that Israel lacks the capability to destroy these facilities itself, and only the US Air Force, specifically American B-2 stealth bombers with 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs, could actually pull it off, and it would take a few goes. Israeli F-15 fighters can carry their own bunker busters, but they're a lot smaller than the American bombs, and Israel only has a limited stockpile, which is why most analysts don't think Israel could do the job alone. If the US intervenes, however, this will probably be their first objective, although we should say that this risks creating a Chernobyl-style crisis in the Middle East. The second objective would be to force Iran into accepting a nuclear deal. This has long been Trump's preferred outcome. He's been trying to negotiate a new deal with Iran for the past couple of months that would essentially see Iran give up on its nuclear weapon ambitions in exchange for sanctions relief. But the negotiations stalled over the issue of uranium enrichment, with Iran insisting on the ability to enrich uranium domestically, and the US instead suggesting that Iran should import its enriched uranium from third countries. Trump apparently hoped that Israel's attack would encourage Iran to concede on this point. In a series of Truth Social posts over the weekend, Trump repeatedly advised Iran to take the deal on offer, implying that if they did, Israel would stop their strikes. But this didn't happen, and the 6th round of talks between Iranian and American negotiators, due on Sunday in Oman, was cancelled. Nonetheless, Trump will probably be hoping that American military pressure will give the Ayatollahs enough extra incentive to agree to a deal. The Ayatollahs will obviously be reluctant. After all, it would amount to a capitulation. But they don't have many good options left, given that Israel has apparently destroyed most of their air defense systems, and Israeli intelligence have clearly penetrated the Iranian security apparatus. The third objective is regime change in Iran. It doesn't look like Trump is here yet, given his apparent preference for a deal and the fact that he reportedly vetoed an Israeli plan to assassinate Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Nonetheless, senior Republicans are already calling for it, and Trump seems to usually end up on the same page as Netanyahu. So, if no deal is forthcoming, he might go for it. To be fair, this looks increasingly likely. Trump hasn't opposed Netanyahu's recent comment suggesting that assassinating Khamenei would help end the conflict, and posted on Truth Social on Tuesday morning that, "I have not reached out to Iran for peace talks in any way, shape or form." This comes shortly after Trump told reporters on Air Force One that he wanted, quote, a complete give-up from Iran, and he was no longer, quote, too much in the mood to negotiate. So, is this a good idea? Well, who knows? There's obviously a chance that all this goes to plan, and American military power can either force the Ayatollahs into a new nuclear deal or successfully bring about regime change. Advocates of regime change are currently suggesting Iran's transition to democracy could be overseen by Reza Pahlavi, the oldest son of the Shah of Iran, the monarch who ruled Iran until the 1979 revolution. If Trump could pull either of these off, i.e. he can force Iran into a sustainable nuclear deal or bring about Iran's transition to democracy, it'll be a huge victory. But recent history, and the American experience in Iraq and Afghanistan, suggests that American intervention rarely goes to plan. Now, proponents of regime change argue that Iran isn't like Iraq or Afghanistan, for at least two reasons. First, they argue that Iran is a relatively developed, stable state, with a long history and sense of national identity, and therefore unlikely to collapse into chaos. Second, they claim to have an easy replacement waiting in the wings, in the form of Reza Pahlavi. But neither of these arguments are watertight. After all, Iran has lots of inter-ethnic tensions, with Persians accounting for barely a majority of the population, and Reza Pahlavi is far less popular inside Iran than he is with the Iranian diaspora. It's also worth noting that we saw very similar rhetoric from neocons before Iraq and Afghanistan. Before Iraq, many neocons argued that Iraqis would welcome their American liberators with open arms. And in Afghanistan, there was literally a plan to replace the Taliban with the last king of Afghanistan, Mohammad Zahir Shah. But the US soured on the plan once Pakistan told the US they disagreed with Zahir Shah's position on the Durand Line. This is presumably why the Arab states are so fervently opposed to military escalation. While they don't like Iran at all, they know that military action against the Ayatollahs will probably just mean more regional instability. If Iran does go the way of Iraq and Afghanistan, this might not be a bad outcome from Netanyahu's perspective. After all, a destabilised Iran will struggle to organise a nuclear programme, but it would be a pretty suboptimal outcome from Trump's perspective. Trump rose to political prominence criticising the so-called swamp for getting America entangled in forever wars in the Middle East, and spent most of last year's presidential campaign promising to be a peacemaker and put America first. Pursuing a policy of regime change in Iran is almost the opposite of all this, and America would come under pressure to maintain some sort of presence in Iran. You can already see certain MAGA types turning on Trump here. A handful of congressional Republicans, including Representative Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene, have already come out against it. And on Monday, Tucker Carlson published an interview with Steve Bannon about, quote, how the president's enemies are working to destroy MAGA with the war on Iran. Intervention in Iran would also further undermine America's image as a reliable international actor, and could put real strain on America's already strained public finances, given that protracted wars tend to be very, very expensive. Like a lot of things right now, this topic is increasingly complex and ever-changing. And here at TLDR, we're committed to learning more to help us understand the world around us. Luckily for us, our sponsor this week, Brilliant, helps us do just this. We know that learning a little every day is one of the most important things you can do, both for personal and professional growth. And Brilliant helps you get smarter in minutes a day. You can even perfect your skills wherever you are, whether you're on the go or winding down. It's the opposite of mindless scrolling. Brilliant has the perfect mix of engaging problems, competitive features, and daily encouragement that keeps you motivated and on track. For instance, Brilliant's data science content uses real-world data to train you to see trends and make better informed decisions. No matter your level of skill, these courses are perfect to start or continue learning data analysis, with a full suite of content covering data visualizations, algorithms, regression models, and more. Learn how to parse and visualize massive datasets from brands you know to make them easier to interpret. Plus, all content on Brilliant is crafted by an award-winning team of teachers, researchers, and professionals from Stanford, MIT, Caltech, Microsoft, Google, and more. To try Brilliant for free, visit brilliant.org/TLDR, scan the QR code on screen, or click the link in the description. By doing so, you'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription, and they'll know you came from us, which really helps us out.